All right. Welcome to the Working Title Podcast. My name is Seamus. In this podcast, we talk about a bunch of different stuff because we're always working on something different. Today, I am joined by Josh. How you doing, bud?
Doing good, bro.
Awesome. And today, we're going to be talking about another Kendrick Lamar album.
Another one.
Yeah, another one, because he didn't just release one.
Yeah.
But we're going to go in order, it seems like, and do To Pimp a Butterfly this time. And this one is it's different.
It's really...
Very different.
It's really a very sophisticated piece of work.
Yeah, I think I like this one a lot more.
You really do?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, like a lot
maybe,
more.
You're maybe significantly more sophisticated than I am.
You think so?
I felt like one thing that I really liked about that first album that we reviewed, his first major release.
Yeah, good kid.
Was it had, like Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe and Swimming Pools, which I felt like I love Kendrick doing the whole in that sort of pop format. I think he does great shit in that format.
Oh yeah.
And that was definitely something I didn't really hear like one definitive song on this record that was that.
Really? You don't think so?
I mean, he didn't have a lot of these songs were big still, but I'm talking about like there wasn't a huge breakout like ginormous hit.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you mean.
And maybe that's what I was missing from it a little bit, which is kind of stupid because I'm not really... It's not all about the hits, but
yeah,
I just
get
love
what you mean.
Kendrick in that fucking... He always knocks it out of the park in that pop format, for me at least.
Right.
But so you're saying that you really like this one, though?
Yes.
A lot more than the first one.
A lot more than the first one. Yeah, because when I first started listening to this, that first song, Wesley's Theory.
It's really good.
Oh my God. The production of it and the whole setup and all the musical background and all that is amazing. And then all the lyrical content throughout the entire album is phenomenal.
The lyrical content, I just got chills at saying that.
Right.
Just pondering just how he really, to me, Kendrick Lamar, even though I like that first major release better, the one he did 3 years prior to this one, which was 2015 release.
Right.
The thing to me is this album from a lyrical standpoint is definitely much more mature. He's definitely honed in on, at this point in time, he's honed in on the message, or at least part of the message that he wants to convey to the world at large. He has this huge platform. He's this huge rapper, and he really uses platform on this album to tell the exact story that he wanted to tell and bring, shine a light on some issues that maybe, in our country haven't had a light shed on them in a while, or by an influential person in the African American community.
Well, that's what I see a lot of what he's talking about in the album is because the entire album is kind of about his journey from being nobody and then rising to this superstardom. Yeah. And he's just talking about that entire thing and then coming back at the end to Compton and seeing his family. And having to deal with them being the way that they are back then and still being them, and him having gone through a bunch of change, getting super popular. Yeah,
great. He's to go through what he's been through. He's a completely different person today. Fame and superstardom will change anybody. When you get, especially when you're not used to having money, or you grow up somewhat poor,
right,
or struggle in some way, and then you just all of a sudden you become a huge success. That's got to be. There's no book for that, really.
Yeah, you're right. There is no book for that.
It's like Billy Corgan said on Joe Rogan's podcast a while ago. He said that when Smashing Pumpkins, I think it was with Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness, when it went number one, his manager called him and said, "Hey, we reached number one," and he asked his manager, he goes, "Is there anyone a spot higher than that?"
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it kind of, I kind of got what he was saying in a little, in a subtle way. It's when you're that big, it's where do you go next? How can a human even process that level of unprecedented success,
Right. Yeah, how can you top yourself, I guess?
Yeah. And I think Kendrick's probably, you know, his next record is probably going to be just as fucking good. You know, he always does a great job at taking like whatever's happening like socially and what's happening in this country and taking these great concepts and putting them over great beats from some of the best producers in the fucking game.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, this
Boy Thundercat got in on this action. A lot of great producers, man. A lot of really good producers on this one. And in the production, definitely a lot more obscure rhythms. Definitely a lot more jazz. Definitely a lot, like some very obscure progressions that are not, you know, at all, not at all mainstream.
Yeah, which is why I like it a lot more.
Yeah, it's very creative and at times avant-garde. He'll just, you know, drop out and then he'll say one word and then it'll flow to a completely different passage with a totally different rhythm. Yeah. The record is chock full of really interesting and I think probably well thought out transitions like that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Everywhere.
Like I noticed in Good Kid, Mad City, Kendrick had a very distinctive style to his production, and then to his lyrical style as well, where the production kind of fell behind the lyrics a lot. Mm-hmm. Not to say that it wasn't really good, but like it didn't have a lot of place. You know, there weren't a lot of places where the music took over the vocals, and the vocals were always just on top. It was all about what he was saying. The production was behind it. Yeah. This album is, oh my God, there's so much more. Yeah, there's a whole jazz solo. Yeah. The opening of the entire album.
It's a lot more musically centered, music centric. Yeah. That's not the right word, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's more about the production. Yeah. Even though the lyrical content is still there, and it shows itself in a bunch of different parts, where like in right at the end, he does a whole acapella section. Yeah. You know, and that part's really fucking good, where there's nothing except for him just singing to a crowd, kind of.
Oh, it's fucking awesome, dude. Yeah. It's
God, it's so good.
I think this is also one that was going to take me a few times listening to it again to really fully appreciate it, because it's almost like it's just not a pop record. It's like listening to Opeth or Tool. You have to hear the album a couple times to hear all the intricacies and all the things, like, because you fall in love with little elements of songs every time you hear them again. Yeah. I think on this one for me, even as I was listening to it throughout, like that thought kept coming back in my head, like, I'm gonna have to do this again. There's just no way. I need to hear it again. Yeah. Again.
I think I've listened to it 4 times.
The whole thing?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, Shane.
It's like it's been on a loop for the past couple days since we did.
I'm really glad that we did this little series here, man.
I really enjoy this album.
That's awesome.
Like beginning to end. Wesley's theory is so good. The jazz part for free, where he's like almost battling with the drums and the saxophone. Oh my God, it's amazing.
It's just outrageous. I wonder how much of the music he's selecting. Right. I watched an interview on Pensado's Place, a great podcast on YouTube, like where they interview producers and engineers of, you know, like big, like on the upper echelon of that whole scene. And they were interviewing this guy. His name is Mixed by Ali. And he works on all of Kendrick's production, and he like grew up with them and stuff, so he's always been on like every single one. And I remember him saying that Kendrick actually does have an affinity for the jazz stuff, and actually does, you know, they go through sounds, and that he advertently, you know, chooses those sounds.
That's awesome.
So that's cool that he would, you know, like just even being such a huge rapper, he's like, dude, I just want to like go crazy and do what sounds good and what feels good.
Yeah. That's awesome. I didn't know about that. Yeah. Because there's so much like funk and jazz in this album. I know. It's so enjoyable.
Definitely like a callback to a ton of the classics, like 70s soul.
Oh, just
like just the vibes, like just the way they treated the sound. Maybe, I'm not sure. I'm assuming that they probably did this in really nice studios that have a plethora of nice analog gear. It just sounds, even if they're just using plugins, a lot of this stuff just sounds like really warm.
Yeah, you know? It's so good.
So good.
I can't really even think of, when I listened to it the first time, I was driving back from college, and I remember thinking like, I can't hear any of the songs right in the middle. Like right after the fourth track, I was like, all right, this feels like it's Good Kid, Mad City again, where there's really no music to it. It's all kind of just lyrical content, vocal stuff. And I was like, I don't know, this isn't all that good. And then when I got home and I listened to the rest of it, I was like, nope, this is perfect. This is awesome. When I was listening to it on my monitors,
nice.
It's like, oh, this is just awesome.
Yeah, I think that was definitely one of the big mistakes I made. I need to listen to this on like my good pair of headphones.
Yeah.
Or
you'll hear everything.
Yeah, exactly. I need to hear more of the butter and biscuits. I need to hear the good shit.
Yeah. Oh my god, just the entire album all the way through.
What I think, what would be funny is if we reviewed all the albums he has up until this point, and right when we were finished with that, that's when he drops the new record.
Well, the other day when we recorded the first one, he ended up releasing a song.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like a couple days before.
Nice.
So maybe something will end up coming out. I haven't listened to it yet.
It's probably good.
Yeah. Maybe he didn't.
The big question is.
I can't tell.
Okay, so say just imagine for a second.
Mm-hmm.
You're an artist at that level.
Right.
You've done everything you've ever wanted to do, and then multiplied that everything with all sorts of other shit you never thought you'd be able to do, but have done anyway.
Right.
Then you take a couple, like a year off, and you're chilling, you're enjoying your money, you're enjoying your family. Like, where does the motivation to come back to music again? And like, are you trying to, like, what's the mindset like of somebody in that position? Are you trying to go out there and like just make singles? Are you trying to go out there and just make whatever you want? Like, what is that even like? Because usually when you're creating music, there's like some sort of intention behind it. You know, they're like, I want this to end up being this, or I'm trying to progress towards this. Like, what do you think?
I don't know. Especially for like rap music.
Yeah.
Once you get popular, what is the point?
Fucking motivation. I mean,
if the motivation is to get out of Compton, yeah, he did that.
He's already out, bro.
But he has to fight to stay out, right?
Yeah.
So he has to continue and stay popular, where, and other people don't, I guess.
I think that's just another strange phenomenon that happens, like, where and it probably sucks in almost every musician to a certain extent, is you're popular for a while and you're like, you have a nice big fucking hit or you have some success and you're like, get sloppy or you get lazy with it, and then all of a sudden it's not there anymore, and then all of a sudden you're a fucking has-been.
Right.
But somebody like Kendrick, what he's done so well is like he's really instead of just being somebody who was like just a musical public figure, he's like a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah.
So he somehow transcended like beyond definitely. Lil Pump was pretty big, but nobody's gonna remember Lil Pump in 5 or 10 years. Maybe they will. Some people probably will.
Yeah, they'll remember him for being.
But they're not gonna write about him in fucking history books like they will Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, I think it kind of comes to the point where like Dr. Dre hasn't released a lot of music for a long time. He's still popular. People still listen to his music, and he makes millions of dollars.
He sold his headphones to Apple. He's a billionaire, bro. He came from fucking nothing. Now he's a billionaire. Where's the motivation?
Yeah, exactly. So where's the motivation for him to make any music anymore?
Don't know, dude. I just don't know.
Everything else set up.
I mean, these are great problems for these people to have. I mean, one might even argue that they're not problems at all.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a fascinating dilemma to ponder. Like, what is it like to do what you love to do, something that you like strove to be the best at, and you fucking made it. Then all of a sudden you're like, well, I've already done that. I've done it really well. Like, what must that be like to be Dr. Dre? And I wonder if he ever just gets drunk and then just goes back and listens to all the NWA, like all the Snoop, just all of his favorite songs that he's produced over the years, to which is probably like 30 or 40 that he really thinks are great.
Right.
What's that gotta be like?
I don't know.
Just fucking.
I wonder if that's the entire point of the album.
What's that?
I wonder if that's the entire point of the album.
What?
Is just like, you get Kendrick saying that you get to a certain level of being popular, and then why continue? But you have to fight to stay at that level.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure what this album's about. It's about something that's really deep.
It's very
something that's so different from everything else that's been released in the past couple of years.
Definitely did. It's very abstract. It's very timeless too.
Yeah.
They definitely did a great job of like sonically quite timeless.
Yeah.
So just based on the 4 listens that you've had, what would you give it if you had to give it a Credit Karma score?
This one gets an 8.75. No.
I'm so glad that you fucking laughed at that. Thank you so much, Seamus.
What's up?
I'm so glad that you laughed at that stupid fucking joke.
Well, I was trying to figure it out in my head a little bit.
Oh, good. All right, so what are you saying?
I'm going to give it an 8.5.
8.5?
Yeah, I really like this album. I think there's parts that I don't know how you could make it better, but I think that there are parts that could be a little bit more interesting. But yeah, I really like this one.
So 8.5.
Yeah.
I think I share I echo those same sentiments of it could be a little more interesting at some points, but
right.
Again, that note is strictly a subjective note.
Right.
It's still fucking great, even without my opinion.
Yeah.
So I would give it 7.5.
7.5?
7.5.
Okay.
But after I listen a couple more times, that's probably going to go higher.
Yeah.
Maybe significantly higher.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
There's just a magic to the first couple tracks.
That's true, bro. It's true.
You just can't get from anything else. I think the most like poppy would be the third track, King Kunta, where there's like a chorus part.
Yeah, there's definitely like a real legitimate hook there.
Yeah, it's so good. But
it's good shit, dude. You should check it out. One of the greater album covers that I've ever seen too.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of rowdy humans in front of the White House. I think they're trampling down over Obama with his eyes.
I don't think that's Obama. It's just some random politician.
It's just some random cutout.
Yeah. I don't know.
If you haven't checked that shit out, dude, go listen to it. It'll enhance your lives, hopefully.
Yeah. The final monologue in the last track, I don't think I've ever heard anything quite like it. Like, ever.
It's unique, bro.
Yeah, it's so unique. There's so much to say about it that I don't know if we can really do it justice.
Just gotta go listen to it, bro. Listen to it a lot.
God, it's so good. Yeah, go check it out. To Pimp a Butterfly by Kendrick Lamar, released in 2015. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Working Title Podcast. We'll talk to you next time. We'll review either a movie or some more music, because that's what we do. All right. Goodbye.
Bye.